And thank you for being here today. I want to start by saying I'm very nervous. So that's about it. Feel free to turn it. But yeah, thank you for being here today. And you might be looking for a technical topic. I'm not very person for that, so I apologize, but I hope you find this just as valuable. Today I'm talking about navigating the nodes in your career, and if you see the structure guide, this is the structure points. I apologize for these instructions too. But alright, so about me. I work for Cisco. I've been there for 11 years now. And any day now I keep saying, let's go back to Cisco. I love it. It's a fantastic company. They're really supportive of anything we want to do and giving back to the community. So we were here for the food thing, volunteering as a team. This was like the fourth of us, and everybody else turned away because they don't like pictures. And like I said, this is not a technical topic because I am not a technical person. And despite my current title being a technical program manager for strategy and planning, it's a more importantly, I am a single mom to two wonderful little humans and technically 5 fur babies, but there's 3 of them here. For fun, I compete in strongman, and I battle as a Lyme disease survivor. So I went from crying because picking up a pen hurt too badly to being able to lift 430 pounds. So my passion for driving through challenges started a really long time ago and has gotten me pretty solid with life. And then in my spare time, I am getting a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology with a focus on situational leadership, so helping managers become better leaders by meeting their employees where they are instead of where the managers want them to be. So I want to start with my career journey and lay it out to show you that I did not have a linear path to get to where I am today. I started as a waitress in Golden Corral. I got my bachelor's in social work. I went to waitressing at Chili's, and then you can see the rest going up. The colors coordinate to the relation between the different jobs that I had. So green is social work, red's obviously waitressing. The tannish beige is operational. I was in collaboration, and the last teal colors that my favorites are currently in cybersecurity, information security. So despite the fact that none of these are really related to any of them, I've been at Cisco 11 years, I've got 8 jobs there. But despite the fact that most of them are not related to each other, each of them has given me a really good value and a foundational skill set that I have found to be really valuable today. So when I was in social work in the food industry, I was able to work with a lot of different types of people. Some of them were justifiably angry, and some of them were irrationally angry, and some of them were just super nice. But it helped me learn how to de-escalate situations with individuals that they're just not very rational people sometimes, and that's fine. They have valid reasons in their mind that they feel this way, so finding a way to come to a common ground and an even keel of being willing to work through situations and coming towards a solution, all of that was really valuable to learn those skill sets. And then I got moved over to technology company, where I worked in operations again. So my first job was essentially what you could do and push buttons, and it's not what I liked at all. It's miserable. And I learned that learning things that you don't like is just as important as learning about the things that you do like. So while I didn't enjoy it, I still am grateful that I went through those things. Then I moved over to customer success, and that was in Cisco's collaboration. So through the pandemic, I got to teach people how to do online meetings. And that's where I learned and kind of started developing my passion for learning the technology side of things. And just a quick fun fact, I did not own a smartphone before about 4 years ago, so I went into collaboration teaching people how to do online meetings with a dumb phone. So when I told my customers that I understand their hesitancies for change, I genuinely meant it. And then I'm in the strategy and planning side now. I got moved over to technical program manager under cyber security and trust organization, and that's the organization I still live in. Starting with my beginning of my career. So through high school and college, I worked at Golden Corral. You guys know it's a buffet. It's pretty disgusting, but also really great when you're a college kid and can't afford food. So I made really good tips, got free food, I was happy. And whenever I got close to graduating college, I was talking to my manager at the time about it and said, I'm moving out west, I don't want to be in North Carolina anymore. And he said, what are you going to do out there? I said, I don't know, have fun, just snowboarding, flying, I'm happy. And he happened to know the manager at the Golden Corral in Layton, Utah, where I moved. So he put us in contact with each other. And I talked to the guy, he liked me, he said, give me a call when you get here, we'll put you on schedule. And I said, fantastic, I have a job. And the day came to move, so I tried out to move out west. And I called him again, he said, yep, we're still on, come in here when you get here, it'll be great, we'll put you on schedule. So I got there, I went in, and I said, hey, I'm Melissa, we talked, and he to cultural differences and him not agreeing with my lifestyle choices, I got my first no. He suddenly didn't have a job for me anymore. So, I binge ate chocolate for a while, I watched Grey's Anatomy for a while, and I realized I had to pay bills. So I went off and I got a job at Chili's. And despite how nervous I am right now, I love talking to people on a one-on-one basis. So I ended up waiting on the regional manager for a day program named Chrysalis, or called Chrysalis. And that's where I got my first social work job, because they told me, hey, you seem like a great person, we love the things that you're doing and how you interact with people, come apply for this job. So I did. And I worked there for a couple years. I was a day program manager, so I taught people with disabilities how to navigate social settings a little bit more appropriately. I advocated for them in the community to make sure that they were accepted and welcomed, while also holding them to expectations of how to act in public. And they were able to get free gym memberships, free museum memberships. They thrived at Special Olympics, and it was an amazing opportunity to see. But life happens. I unexpectedly got pregnant and moved back to North Carolina to be my family. So, when I came back to North Carolina, there's so many fantastic schools. Obviously, there's State, there's Duke, there's Chapel Hill. Many of these things offer master's degrees in social work, and other people have them and I don't. So, my friend called me one day and said, hey, I have an opening on my team working at Cisco. Are you interested in joining? And I said, sure, why not? So my first interview, I went to the Burger King parking lot because I couldn't afford internet for my apartment. And I took the interview from my car in front of Burger King. And that was my first job at Cisco. Operations manager, like I said, nobody could do it. It was miserable. I hated it, but I did it anyways, and I did my best. When I was working one day, I got a call from a recruiter asking if I'd be interested in moving to the support specialist role. I didn't know anything about it, but I knew I hated my job at the time, so I said yes. When they told me what I needed to know for the job, they said Excel was one of the things. I did not excel at Excel, and I didn't know anything about it until 10 minutes before my interview when I Googled it, and YouTube had to pivot tables. So I got that job. And again, based on my background of working with really abrasive people, really grumpy people, negative, however you want to put it, I was put with the most abrasive sales support counterpart that they had, because nobody wanted to work with her, and now I affectionately call her Mama Sue. So Mama Sue and I worked to get me a full-time position, so my first two jobs were red badge within Cisco. My third job was working with Federal Department of Defense as a deal management operator, so lots of inventory reconciliation, contract consolidation, lots of data analyst work, which I only loved, coming from not knowing any Excel to getting way too much going, finding pivot tables and all the formulas really quickly when it's done right. I liked that job for the most part. And I was on two separate teams for a while. I was excelling, I thought, in that career. I went to my manager and said, hey, I'm doing this in my job scope, I'm doing all of this outside of my job scope. I feel like I deserve a raise. And she said, no. She said, you don't have the skill set that we're looking for. You haven't shown yourself in areas that we feel like would be valuable to move you to the next promotion, but she couldn't tell me why or what they were looking for. Like, all right, cool, that stinks, but now I know I need to look for another job. So I went over and just started looking at job recs that we had open. I started talking to all the people I've met at the gym, in the elevators, in the cafeteria, and said, hey, what you do sounds interesting, can I learn more about it? And people said yes. Nobody ever told me no when I started informational interviews, even reaching out on LinkedIn or anything like that. I've never been told no. They might not respond to me, but that's still not no. So after talking to people, I decided my social work self, like I wanted to help people, how do I find that in technology? There was a position open for operation for customer success manager. And I learned all that I could about all the different things. I talked to all the people that I knew were on the teams. I shadowed them. I did everything right. And I applied for the job. And I was immediately rejected. Like, no hesitation, rejected, because I didn't have the keywords in my resume, in my application, whatever. So I said, okay, that stinks, but that's cool. I went to the recruiter and I said, hey, I was rejected, but I want to know why. And they said, well, you don't have customer experience. And I was like, that's not true. I have all my salespeople who are my customers. I don't have external facing customer experience, but I do have customer experience. Here's the various situations of super angry people that I've simmered down. Here's the list of customers that we didn't lose because I worked with them. I've got this. And they're like, all right, you're good. Go ahead and apply again. Anybody else what happened? I was rejected, yes. I was rejected again. And I was like, all right, what happened now? And they said, you don't have the tool experience to hit the ground running. This is a brand new team. We just need people that can start immediately. And I was like, okay, but I can. So what tools do you use? And she told me Insight. I was like, all right, cool. So I YouTubed, I Googled, I did all the trial classes and trainings that I could possibly find, and did everything I could without having access to a license. So I shadowed people with licenses, did their work for them as much as I legally could, to just walk through the steps of learning how to do it. And this time I skipped the recruiter, went to the hiring manager, and I said, hey, the recruiters told me no twice because of this and that. Here's what I have, and I'm gonna apply to this job. What do you think? Within the week, I was hired. So, customer success manager, collaboration, no smartphone, no experience in any of this. And I just kind of threw money. I like challenges, I like new and exciting things, even if I know nothing about them. So I thoroughly enjoyed that job. Within collaboration, I learned a lot about managing up. I learned a lot about the importance of a healthy culture and a healthy organization. I learned about identifying gaps in processes, but also providing solutions to those gaps. And it was extremely valuable. And so all the things that I worked through in that role led me to be a senior customer success manager. So I was a lead for all the customers, or for the team during the pandemic, which was valuable to me because my kids were home during school. I was a teacher. I feel really bad for them. But we made it. And so I was so excited about all the things I did. I felt really good about myself. I felt really good about my relationships with all the leaders across the organization. And I thought, I really want to be a manager. Like, that's my next step. Career-wise, it makes sense. So I talked to the managers and I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's my plan for what I would do if I became a manager. What do you guys think? They said, you would be fantastic. Absolutely apply. You're like top of the list. Cool. So I did, and I got through all of the interview processes and was at the very end, and I felt really good about it. Like, started to my family and friends, I'm gonna be manager. And then I got rejected. And I was like, what the heck? And it turned out I just didn't play the political games the way that they wanted to. So I didn't choose with the right people, I didn't say the right things, nothing about my work ethic, nothing about me as an individual. I just didn't check the boxes with the guys that played golf. That's fine, I don't know if I'm not going to. So at that point, I was in a really not fantastic place in my personal life. And one of my really good friends gave me the best advice that I've ever received in my life. I've done completely ever since then, but he told me, I need to start betting on myself. He said, you're really great at finding the value in everybody else and pushing them to be your best self, but you don't bet on yourself. So my wife, here it is. But I was talking to another friend who was listening to all my whining about all the things that I've done in collaboration and all the things that I wanted to do and all the problems I see within Cisco that to me make sense and they're easy to fix, but people don't take the time to focus on humans. Cisco, that's just saying, that's something to show. And he told me I should apply to be a technical program manager. No technical skills. I am the wrong person to be caught in a phishing scheme. Like, I am the worst person for security, but for some reason, they hired me. So I got moved to a technical program manager position, and I found out a year later that when they opened that rec, they had somebody in mind already that they wanted to hire. And they said, you came in and you blew us out of the water. And I specifically remember in that interview, one of the guys kept asking very technical questions, and I tried squeaking on the side, like, I've done my research, but I don't know what you're asking me. And I finally got to the point where I told him, I was like, hey man, it seems like you're looking for a really specific answer, and I obviously don't have it. But what I can tell you is I'm not a plumber, but I just replaced my toilet and it still works. All the parts are functional. So we can keep going down this path if you want to, or we can use the rest of this interview time for more efficient reasons that maybe I can answer. And I got to. So, and they even brought that up later. I was like, this is, the guy calls it being Melisa. He's like, we had a dead set person. We only opened the interview in the recs because we had to check the boxes, and you blew everybody out of the water. And I honestly, for the solid 6 months to a year, felt like maybe I was a pity hire. I checked university boxes. I'm female and I can stand it, so yay them. And it took a really long time for me to realize that all of my experience in restaurants and social work and all the other people that I dealt with brought the value that they were missing from all of the technical people. They need somebody to build the relationships. And another important thing for that is when I started betting on myself, the guy asked me, he was a VP at the time of security and trust, and he asked me where I was at in my career. And I told him I'm at a point where my kids come first. Like, nothing else matters. In social work, it's literal life or death. Technology, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does, in this case it doesn't. And so that's where I am still. And so after being in that role for about 2.5 years, I was asked to move over to strategy and planning because they like that I go cold with things, but they like that I come over with solutions. And so that's where I'm at. I 2 months ago, officially transitioned off my own team about 2 weeks ago, so I was in two roles for a while. But officially in strategy and planning. Had a workforce transformation meeting yesterday with the PMs and the team and chief of staffs, and again, I came in as the translator for the technical people and the leaders to help them understand. You guys are saying the exact same thing, just in different ways. So stop fighting. It'll be fun. So what does this have to do with any defects? Why does this matter to you? I think my biggest, takeaways from this is just you get to choose your card. You're going to hear no so much through the career process, through interviewing, through school, through anything, maybe relationships, life, it doesn't matter. But how you choose to grow from it is your choice. You can, sit and binge eat chocolate and watch Grey's Anatomy or whatever's relevant now. Or you can work hard and say, okay, well, this is what I know, but what opportunity comes from this? So you get to see your opportunities. You don't have to take rejection as a no. You can use that to build yourself and fire yourself until you find your yes. And it might not be what you were looking for, but it might be the right thing for you. And then form connections. So things like this are fantastic. We have people from Cisco that are here as mentors and as judges. And even if it sounds like the most ridiculous things ever to bring a conversation, like, hey, I really like your shoes, or hey, I really like your hat. It doesn't matter. People like humans, and it's fine. I offered a director of some fancy thing a hard-boiled egg because he said he skipped lunch or breakfast one day in the elevator. I have no idea who he was, but he remembered me later. So connections that you make are important. It's not always about what you know, but it's absolutely going to help you who you know. But most importantly, just bet on yourself. If you seem like you're not qualified enough for the job, apply anyways. Look people up on LinkedIn or whatever other relevant internet things, or maybe you know I'm not great at that thing, sorry, things here in technology. But just use your resources. Nobody's going to tell you no unless they're just a jerk or person that you don't want to work for anyways. Set up the informational interviews, offer people to have coffee, have lunches, whatever you want to do, just compliment a stranger. You never know how that's going to end up with you. Other fun fact is the VP of security, when we went back into the office, recognized me for the socks that I wore at the gym. Oh my gosh, I've known you for years, but you've just been sock girl to me. And I was like, what? He's like, you're the one that's over there with all the fun socks all the time, and now you're on my team. Good, I'm glad I was a root to you back at the gym. So yes, don't forget to bet on yourself. And that was it. I don't have to push this just like do that, but thank you for your time today, and thank you for allowing me to leave my stumbling impression. I appreciate you.